Residents in New York say they're alarmed after seeing Muslim community patrols driving through their neighborhoods in what looked like police squad cars. One America's Pearson Sharp has the details.
New Yorkers say they're shocked after seeing Muslim patrol cars roaming their neighborhoods like police squads. These Muslim community patrols just began operating in Brooklyn this year, and according to the Council on American Islamic Relations, they are the first of their kind in the United States. The patrols sprang up as an apparent response to some 14 biased incidents against New York Muslims in 2017. Actually, a rather low number, considering there's over 8.6 million people living in the city. According to the group's vice president, Noor Rabah, the group currently has 30 members, but plans on rapidly expanding to cover the entire city. He describes the Muslim patrols like a neighborhood watch, but on steroids, with members dressed like police officers and driving cars identical to police squad cars. Residents say they're uncomfortable with the patrols, which they describe as being similar to Sharia police. Others have raised doubts about the purpose of the patrols, saying New York's police department is already very diverse, and their only job is to patrol the city streets and protect people from harassment or crime. So why does there need to be a Muslim group tasked with the same job as the police? Even other Muslims have raised questions about the need for the patrols, with residents expressing fears this is just another form of Sharia law enforcement. Similar groups can already be seen in other major European cities in Denmark, Germany, France, Sweden, and Britain. These patrols have been going on for years, and a CNN report caught Muslims from a patrol in London harassing residents. In Whitechapel, one man can be heard insulting a gay man, calling him offensive names and telling him he wasn't welcome in a Muslim area. Others denounce residents for drinking, claiming this is a Muslim area and alcohol is not permitted. They also harassed a woman as she was crossing the street, warning her that her short skirt was not allowed in Muslim areas. And now, with the arrival of these Muslim patrols to New York City, Americans are becoming worried they'll fall under the same harassment for not following Islamic practices. Pearson Sharp, One America News.
Want to see more videos like this? Click on the...
In 1992, Ilhan Omar came to this country from a refugee camp in East Africa, Kenya. 3 years later, she and her family applied for and received refugee status in the United States. 5 years after that, she became a U.S. citizen, and she's been attacking the United States as a racist hellhole pretty much ever since. According to Omar, there's barely a difference between this country and terrorist groups like al-Qaeda. In a 2013 interview, Omar complained that people seem to think there was a big difference between America and al-Qaeda. Watch.
Muslim told Texas man, take down the flag. His response is amazing. Muslims are lashing out as 4th of July celebrations ramp up. It's clear they don't respect our country or our values. A Muslim landlord demanded that Asian American, Dai Tran, remove the American flag, which Tran flew immediately after moving to the apartment complex. I'm gonna leave my flag there, as an American, until she shows me proof that I don't have the right to leave my flag there.
Welcome back. Laguna Beach Police Department is facing some backlash for putting American flag-inspired logos on their patrol cars.
Really? That's the reaction from Iranian lawmakers to the Trump administration's decision to designate Iran's Revolutionary Guard as a foreign terrorist organization, chanting, "Death to America." I would say this is outrageous. I would say this is unbelievable, but sadly, it's hardly surprising, right? This is video from nearly a year ago. Let's show you. Here we go. Showing Iranians burning the American flag while chanting, "Death to America." And that's Representative Ilhan Omar, who is out tonight tweeting against the president's advisor, Stephen Miller, effectively accusing him of being a white nationalist. Not just accusing, or effectively, I should say, because she actually says Stephen Miller is a white nationalist. Those are some pretty tough terms. The fact that he still has influence on policy and politics right now, she says, is effectively a travesty. A white national, you know, last time I checked, I do believe that he is a Jewish American. You know, if you're Jewish, I don't quite think you would be a white nationalist, but maybe I'm just, you know, Maybe I'm overanalyzing here.
Prophet had sex with a 9-year-old girl.
That's right. Look at that.
Listen to this holy man.
He's not holy.
He's not holy. No. If you don't like it, go back to your...
There you go. Hey.
Had sex with a 9-year-old girl. End of story.
Y'all going to hell.
End of story. It was
There you go.
To hell.
End of
What's up?
story.
Jesus is a Muslim. He didn't get crucified. Y'all going to hell. Y'all worship a prophet. Jesus worshipped Allah. That's in the Bible. That's in the Old Testament. That's in the
Jesus did
Jewish
not
Testament.
worship Allah.
That's in the Quran. You
No, he
infidels.
didn't. He did not worship Allah.
You laws worship
Now,
them.
go have yourself a bacon sandwich.
You worship them. You infidel. You infidel.
Go ahead. Get a BLT. Have some vegetables with that. It's healthier.
Infidel. Y'all going to hell, all of you. Shame
Oh,
on
a
you.
pedophile.
Pedophile, you motherfucker.
Was a
Brothers and
pedophile. He had sex with a 9-year-old girl.
There you go. He can't even say anything against it because he knows it's true.
That's bad.
Hey, leave him alone, man.
Just
Hey, leave him
He
alone.
was a pedophile.
Hey, also, just so you know, we're peaceful men, but we're not pacifists. And if this Muslim dude keeps pushing on my friend over here, we're going to have to need you to come over here and take care of him. There you go. He can't even say anything against it because he knows it's true.
That's bad.
Hey, leave him alone, man. Hey, leave him alone.
He was a pedophile.
Also, just so you know, we're peaceful men, but we're not pacifists. And since Muslim dude keeps pushing on my friend over here, we're going to have to need you to come over here and take care of him. Just so you know. Just so you know.
End of story.
There you go. Yeah. Hey, you got it, you know. Hey, officer, you see that? You got on video right there. You got that
Go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Touch me. Touch me. Touch me. Touch me.
Wants its Muslim students to feel comfortable, and initially that meant teaching all students about Islam. But some parents pointed out that's a violation of church and state.
And you can express hate, and you can do everything that you choose to do.
San Diego against the district's new anti-bullying curriculum.
It expresses the values of this community.
Because you're going to be hauled in front of a court. You're going to lose in front of a court.
And therefore, we move forward as a unified community in support of all of our students, including our Muslim students. We are against Islamophobia, we are for tolerance, and we support this policy as an expression of those values.
The policy he's talking about started last year, right around the election of President Donald Trump. That's when San Diego Unified decided to tackle Islamophobia in the classroom.
The environment was becoming more and more hostile, and the experience of Muslim students was something that we couldn't ignore.
In response, the district created safe zones at school and chose to partner with the Council on American Islamic Relations, or CARE, to create Islamophobia lesson plans, ensuring all students would treat their Muslim counterparts with sensitivity. But not all parents were on board, pointing to the Constitution.
The Islamophobia program is a violation of the Constitution, more specifically of the Establishment Clause, in which the Constitution under the Establishment Clause forbids or prohibits any government agency from preferring one religion to another. So what I think they see is, why are Muslim students getting singled out for special protections?
It's why the Freedom of Conscious Defense Fund threatened a federal civil lawsuit against the district. And it seems San Diego Unified got the message. It has backed off its partnership with CARE and intends to not specifically focus its anti-bullying curriculum on Muslims, but to ensure all students are treated equally. And the Defense Fund says it gave the district 2 weeks from tonight to prove its new curriculum is constitutional. They do want to settle outside of court. It all depends on what the district does next.
A group with close ties to Islamic terrorism is forced to remove its Muslim indoctrination programs from schools in San Diego, California. As One America's Pearson Sharp explains why parents in San Diego are calling this a victory for freedom of speech.
An Islamic group whose leaders have called for overthrowing the U.S. government is no longer allowed to preach its message of hate in San Diego's schools. CARE, or the Council on American Islamic Relations, was just named in a lawsuit by the Freedom of Conscience Defense Fund, a team of trial lawyers who take up cases related to religious freedom and family values. The case was also brought against San Diego's Unified School District, which was accused of partnering with CARE to allow discriminatory, unconstitutional propaganda programs in the classrooms. After carefully reviewing the lawsuit, the federal court agreed with the defense fund's claims. What many are calling a Muslim indoctrination program began back in 2017 after President Trump was elected. According to CARE, Muslim students in San Diego suffered harassment and abuse at the hands of Islamophobic bullies inspired by President Trump. As a result, CARE rolled out programs giving Muslim students extra privileges and even allowed the Islamic terrorist-linked organization to make changes to the school's curriculum. Under the changes, Islam was treated more favorably in the classrooms, and heavily biased videos were shown to both parents and students. Officials from CARE were even allowed to directly instruct students and teachers about Islam, and children were given lessons on how to become allies with Muslim students. However, after extensive searches through the state's records, absolutely no evidence was found that any Muslim students were being bullied in San Diego schools. In fact, evidence emerged to the contrary, showing discrimination was actually being directed at non-Muslim students. According to Charles Lamandry, the chief counsel for the plaintiff, the school district's collaboration with CARE allowed Islamists to run wild in San Diego schools. He explained that by claiming to promote inclusivity, CARE was actually targeting conservative Christian students and denouncing them as Islamophobic. Lamandry also argued that the liberal school board trampled the First Amendment by allowing CARE to indoctrinate impressionable children. Again, the courts agreed, ruling that the Muslim program was unconstitutional and violated the First Amendment's Establishment Clause by showing favor to one religious group over another and mixing government with religion. Under the court's ruling, San Diego schools must permanently remove any and all CARE programs and are barred from involving CARE in any future school activities. Not only that, but school officials must also go back and correct their curriculum, removing the overemphasis on Islam and pro-Muslim bias introduced by CARE. The court has instructed educators to treat each religion with equal respect, that religious subjects must remain neutral, and guest speakers are no longer permitted to give talks on religious topics or influence students towards their own religion. Daniel Piedra, the executive director for the Freedom of Conscience Defense Fund, called the ruling a tremendous victory. He explained that CARE was planning on using San Diego as a forerunner for a nationwide program of Muslim indoctrination. And while it is a victory for the First Amendment in San Diego schools, CARE is still operating similar programs in Seattle, Washington, and Minneapolis, Minnesota. Both the FBI and the Justice Department have banned CARE as an outreach partner over its radical agenda, as well as its direct ties to the Islamic terror group Hamas. Pearson Sharp, One America News.
Want to see more videos like this? Click on the link below and subscribe to One America News on YouTube. And
Exactly. Misunderstanding with regard to what we're doing to keep our Muslim students safe. We don't think this school board... Exactly.
I'm sorry, we will not allow that.
We will not allow in San Diego public schools for Muslim children to be spit on, beat up, verbally harassed, or have their hijabs constantly pulled on in class. We must make sure that
I'm sorry, Mr. Beiser.
Okay.
We will clear this auditorium if people are going to interrupt and not be respectful.
then clear the auditorium.
All right, go ahead.
Hate has no place in San Diego schools.
Hello, good evening. I'm Eric Gonzalez, and I have 2 children in the Mira Mesa cluster, and I'm not coming here from the position of fear or Islamophobia, as most of you call it, from personal experience, because I've served in the United States military for 22 years. Now, I'm speaking out against the curriculum-based lessons regarding the religion of Islam at one of my children's school. First, I was never given the opportunity to give my permission for my child to attend those lessons. And now, it is my understanding that the curriculum calls for all religions to be covered throughout the school year. In my case, that is not the case. If you want students to learn about Islam, then make it an elective, not a primary course topic. Secondly, if you truly say this, this is not about the religion of Islam, but primarily about anti-bullying, then make it about all students, not just one particular demographic group, because that's what's happening. The bullying of those of Christian faith continually are targets on and off campus.
Thank you.
Finally,
thank you very much.
Everything CARE, who you have aligned and partnered with, supports everything against the United States Constitution.
Gabriel, president of Act for America, and Michael Gauss, founder of the World Muslim Congress. Thank you both for being here. Bridget, let me start with the beginning of CARE's statement, which we cut off. Quote, "It's really unfortunate that there's a lot of attention on Muslims these days for actions of people who are either part of extremist groups or who have extreme ideas. However, Islam is clear on what it stands for. Islam stands for peace." Your thoughts?
Islam does not stand for peace. The word Islam in Arabic means submission. Salam is peace. Islam is submission. CARE is trying to deceive the public with their talking points. They think because most of the American public does not understand Islam, does not understand what Islam stands for, have never read the Quran, does not understand the Prophet Muhammad and what Prophet Muhammad himself stood for. This is what CARE is counting on. CARE's statement is false and misleading. It does not represent what Islam is all about.
Michael, your thoughts on that? It's really unfortunate that there's a lot of attention on Muslims these days for actions of people who are either part of extremist groups or have extreme ideas. The reason there is that attention is because these people are doing this, ISIS that is, in the name of radical Islam.
Well, Megan, first my heart goes out to the victims of their family, and I pray for their well-being. And the statement made by CARE was the correct statement. Islam does mean peace, but some Muslims don't do the right thing. In the United States, we have 318 million Americans. 3 million of them are incarcerated. We all follow the same constitution, same law. 316 million Americans do the right thing. 3 million don't. It doesn't mean the law books are wrong.
But do you think there's no connection to radical Islam here?
I don't think this is an individual loony, and he was finding an expression to do his violence, and he just found Islam, a radical Islam, to express himself. Islam does not teach violence at all. Bridget, you and I have been many times at loggerheads. Islam does not teach violence. Some Muslims do. Christianity doesn't teach violence. Some Christians do. We cannot blame in your own city, New York, Megan, there are about 1,000 rapes last year. Does it mean all New Yorkers are rapists? No, it is not.
Go ahead,
we
Bridget.
need to be very logical and thoughtful about this.
Go ahead, Bridget.
But here is the difference. In Christianity, nothing supports those who kill. In Islam, the Quran itself does. What those people who behead are doing are emulating Prophet Muhammad. Prophet Muhammad himself ordered the beheading of 800 men, Banu Qurayza. 800 men, he ordered their beheadings and then sat there with his child bride. At that time, she was 12 years old, Aisha, and watched the beheading together. So we have the beheadings, which is strictly Islamist, now practice work.
in Saweetie still shaken by the traumatic train ride Thursday night around 10 when she got on the 6th train at East 23rd Street and Park Avenue after leaving a school event at Baruch College.
I heard them talk, but I had my headphones in. I wasn't really listening. I had a long day, and they came closer, and I heard distinctly them saying Donald Trump.
The young woman says she was then verbally attacked by 3 drunk white men on the train.
They were surrounding me from behind, and they were like, "Oh, look, it's an effing terrorist." I didn't answer. They pulled my strap of the bag, and it ripped.
Saweetie says no one stopped the men, not even when they tried to pull off her hijab.
They kept saying, "You don't belong here, get out of this country, go back to your country." And then finally they came really close and they were like, "Take that rag off your head."
Brooklyn-born woman and proud American citizen, horrified by what happened and worried it could happen again.
The president-elect just promotes this stuff and just very anti-Muslim, very Islamophobic, and it's just he's condoning this. And that's when I turned around and I was really polite and I was like, "Can you please leave me alone?" And everyone was looking, no one said a thing, everyone just looked away.
Hell is going on, guys? I was sitting here in front of one of my customers' houses waiting for them to get home, and I saw a video here a couple days ago by a guy. I don't even remember the guy's name, and he was talking about a pig farmer in Texas, which kind of caught my eye because I'm from Texas. And it was this pig farmer that had literally had his land for over 200 years with his family and his, ancestors. He's been working this farm for like 200 years. And these Muslims, Islamic Muslims, or whatever the hell you want to call them, come in and move on the land next to him. They have the nerve enough to tell this man that after 200 years, he needs to either move or get rid of his pigs. Seems to me like the smart thing to do is, if you have problems with pigs, not move next to a pig farmer. I don't understand. I don't have anything against any walk, religion, anything of the nature. I don't have any of that issue. What I don't understand is where you come into our country, especially Texas, when we consider it another damn country itself, and think you're going to tell a pig farmer to pack his shit and move or get rid of his pigs because you want to build a mosque. Once again, have nothing against Muslims, have nothing against any walk of life, race, any individual, unless you give me a reason. I just thought this was absolutely some of the funniest stuff I've seen. I'm going to post some links down below so y'all can check it out yourself. But that's, unfortunately, people, really, I guess it boils down to he's had enough. He's pretty much told him to piss off. He's going to have pig races now. It's pretty dang funny. It is absolutely funny. But that's what we've got going on in our country, where people think they can come in here and just bully us around. But I hate to tell you, Texas is definitely not the place to come in and think you're going to bully somebody. It's not going to happen. I don't know what made them think they could. But anyway, like I said, I'm going to post some links to different stories. Y'all read it yourselves. Check it out. It's funny. Now, I you know, a little disclaimer, I think it's getting a little ridiculous, you know, the banner back and forth. You know, at some point we need to be adults, grow up, get along. But I'm with him. If you don't like it, move. You moved there. I believe in one of the articles it even said he offered to buy their land from them and they refused or something like that. Don't hold me to that stuff. But I just wanted to make a quick video. This is another one of them situations where, you know, people stand up for yourselves. You know, enough is enough. Just because, you know, you think we're anti-Muslim doesn't make us anti-Muslim. It makes us anti-moron. Because you're stupid and you want to act like an idiot doesn't mean I have to change my life to accommodate your moronicness. Is that even a word? I don't know. Maybe it's a Texas word. I just probably made it up or something. Hell, I don't know. I make words up as I go. But anyway, once again, I'll put some links down at the bottom. Please, guys, as I've always said, give me some constructive comments, constructive criticism. I'm good with it. Like the video. Don't like it. Thumbs down, thumbs up. You know, subscribe. I'm going to keep them coming because it's stuff like this I love to talk about. Y'all have a great day, guys. God bless.
I've had to chop my speech up pretty well to fit your guys' 1-minute time constraints. My name's Christopher Wyrick. I'm a resident of San Diego. I'm a taxpayer, a father, and a husband, and a very, very proud American. Over the years, I've had many titles. One of them I will not accept is infidel. There has been an argument over the years to keep religious beliefs out of school, especially any that happen to be associated with Judaism or Christianity. So at what point did you decide that it was okay to teach my children about Islam? If you're going to take a stance on any religion in school, then that stance needs to be firm against all religions. Your protective class reports from July 1st, 2016 to December 31st, 2016 accounted for states that there were 7 incidences regarding religion. Number 4 on the list accounting for 11% of those reports. If you further separate these incidences down into religious sects, then those numbers fall drastically. So how does your board justify spending our tax dollars on a program that is meant to educate our kids on the Muslim religion specifically, yet only accounts for a very, very small portion of the harassment reported? Have you, pardon me, it's the first time I've ever been up.
No, it's okay.
Okay, so I've seen your reports, and it amazes me that you've allowed CARE to come into our public schools and begin to implement pro-Islam curriculum. What's next? Teaching them about the 5 pillars or the conversion prayer?
Okay, thank you very much.
Dude, I'm going to go. You're going to have to drag me out of here. Yeah. Is that what you consider educating? How does your organization like CARE with ties to terrorists like Hamas have an ear of this board?
Sir, we've got to ask you to
whatever.
conclude.
How does you actually allowing them to implement its propaganda and hate speech into our schools in an effort to brainwash the minds of the young? The Muslim and its followers have gracefully hidden their political agenda under the veil of religion. Yeah, I get it, you guys. You know what? You guys are hypocrites, and you guys should protect your children.
Okay.